Welcome to ViviTalks. I'm Vivienne Aerts. Join me in celebrating 100 talented female musicians from my last album, type of thing. Empowering female cacao farmers in Congo's Virunga State Park and restoring the rainforest. Delve into the musical journeys, creative processes, and unique perspectives of these talented women that were involved in the making of this album. Guitarist, composer, and bandleader Corrie van Binsbergen finished her classical guitar studies in 1983. She has been active in a very wide musical range and played with numerous different bands and groups in pop, jazz, and improvised music, theater and dance productions, recording sessions, TV shows, and even circus. This very broad musical background can be heard in her music. She has developed her own style, both in playing and composing. In 1996, she founded the Stichting Brokken, with which she realizes a new, surprising, and successful production. She brings together different musical styles and art forms for a far broader audience than jazz concerts can reach. She combines music and literature to movies for your ears. Nowadays, Van Binsbergen mainly works as a composer, and she just won the Buma Award. Welcome, Corrie, to my official ViviTalks podcast. It's such a pleasure to have you here. You're all the way in the Netherlands, on the countryside near Nijmegen.
Yeah.
And I'm currently in New York. I'll be there for Christmas. But yeah, so fun to have you. I studied a lot about your music and I really enjoy it, but I love to learn, for starters, what got you to play music, or how did you start out?
Yeah, well, the most difficult question is your first question. What kind of music do you make? Because
You can skip that, but
yeah, but well,
if you
it's an ongoing thing which
want.
always comes back in interviews and so on. But I have a classical background actually. I studied classical guitar in Utrecht, but I always listen to lots of other music also. I have two older brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They played also both guitars, so there were guitars in the house. And when I was like 6 or 7, I picked up a guitar, and well, that's the way it went actually. And yeah, so I heard via my brothers uh, all kind of stuff, like from Beatles to Zappa, from Jimi Hendrix to Traffic or whatever. Joni Mitchell. I listened a lot to Joni Mitchell. And of course also classical music. And at first I thought jazz is not my thing, not but I had a wrong idea about jazz. Something like it was only like a G, D, 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 this kind of.
It's only the 20s.
Yeah, but well, and it was kind of strange because in that time I also listened to Weather Report and Jaco Pastorius, and so via I came also to Miles Davis, and actually it turned out that I liked it very much also. So this background, this broad influences all over the place. Yeah, actually now it's quite common maybe because you have the whole world in your hand actually with the mobile phone. You can listen to anything you want. But back then it was really different because yeah, there was no internet. So I went to the library and learned a lot of music, and I had this big tape recorder, and everything that I liked I put on these really large long tapes. So I listened to, when then was Stravinsky, and then there was Art Chicago, the Art Ensemble of Chicago, and then Bach, and well, all kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the mixtape. I was on the tail end. I still had a few mixtapes, but we
Yeah.
got my age we got mini disc. I would put everything on mini disc.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
cassettes,
Yeah, I
cassette
didn't have
recorder.
YouTube. I realized later I didn't see any pictures or videos of all the people and the music I loved. I realized later, like, wow, I never saw this person sing or this person play because I didn't Google them. I just went to the library and get the album, right? The
Yeah.
physical thing. I just heard them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we just Google everything and you see the picture,
Yeah,
you see the movie.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
a different way of learning too.
Yeah.
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 But you studied classical on guitar, that's a whole different thing, right?
Yeah. But back then, if you wanted to go to the conservatory, you only could do that. There was
I
no
see.
jazz conservatory or pop, let alone pop music. It was not, it was not happening.
Yeah.
And for me, it was, yeah, I liked it to play also the Bach fugas and stuff, and also modern music on guitar. But it was also a bit boring. Like, I mean, the world of this classical guitar, especially
Mhm.
classical guitar, all those students, they were always a bit like this, a bit shy and playing like this, and I don't know.
There was not
They
much of a
said to and they
community.
said to me when I had to play for exams, yeah, you play a bit wild and like a wild horse or something. And I thought, well, okay, I think that's okay. I still like that. I thought it was a compliment, not too boring. Yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah, it's hard to fit in if you're feeling
yeah,
different. But that's
yeah,
a strength, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah. So, at what moment were you able to escape the cantatas and the fugues and what moment did you start performing music that
Um,
they didn't
yeah.
present to you on the conservatory?
Well, it was also during conservatory time. I played uh, in there was a one-man show, and he wanted three women musicians
Uh-huh.
for to back him to. So I played when I was in the fourth year. I did 110 shows with this cabaret man.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was great. And since then, I earned my money also from the music. And this was not classical music. There was more, yeah, songs and yeah, soundtrack ish things sometimes, And he would sing also, and I played the bass guitar, mostly bass guitar, and
Okay.
some electric guitar. Yeah. And yeah, and I had a friend also who had a pop band. And at first we wanted, he wanted me to join the band, and I
Mm-hmm.
would play with my classical guitar in the pop band, but it didn't went. Technically, it was not possible because we had a little element to put on the body of the guitar, but it was always feedbacking a lot. And then another band member, he played a solo guitar. He said, "Well, you can lend a guitar of mine and you can try it out." And well, that was the beginning of electric guitar playing. At first, I really had to get used to this, because if you play classical acoustic guitar, the sound is so near you and so direct, like what you do here with your fingers and your nails, you have directly effect. And then I played electric guitar, and the sound was from the amplifier a meter or 2 meters
On the
there.
other end of the stage, yes.
Yeah, and I really had to get used to that. It took me a while, but now now I think I know what I'm doing.
So what moment did you, or how did you get into composition then? Because currently, I mean, we're skipping ahead, but currently
Yeah,
you're writing a lot, right? That's your
yeah,
main purpose, or however you want to say it.
yeah.
So how did you get into writing?
Well, I played with a lot of groups, and when in my 20s,
Mm.
and I was very critical at this. I thought, oh, this is not nice, this, and was really critical. And then I thought, well, if I know it so well, maybe I should form my own band. And also, I was when I went 27, I thought, oh gosh, in 3 years I will be 30. Help. And nothing really good came out of my hands, actually. I thought, and then I made a decision to form my own band. And since then I wrote music for my own band. Actually, I had a tape recorder when I was, maybe when I was 20 something, I don't know. And you could multi-track things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a start of uh, um, making my own music. And then when I had my own band with 3 horn players in it, I had to write things down, of course. Of course. And well, that was a start from really composing. And now at the conservatory, he had also com not composition. I didn't, but how was it called? Harmony and contrapunt,
Mm-hmm.
counterpoint. And you had to do things. You had to write notes for these lessons. And then my teacher back then, he said, well, you should write more and make your own things. You have original ideas or something. So he was really um, how to say, stimulating me to do that. So yeah,
And
and
that for,
from
yeah.
that on, I always wrote my own music for the projects and bands, my
Mm-hmm.
own bands. Yeah,
And that first band you're talking about, that was,
yeah,
so you on the guitar, electric guitar, I suppose,
yeah.
and then three
Guitar.
horns and drums,
First
or
year was 2 horns, drums,
uh-huh.
and bass
Nice.
guitar, and
Cool.
then a year later 3 horns, because I wanted to write more and have this three voices for horns. You can write so nice things, because of course you can with the guitar also, but it's so different sound.
Mm,
3 horns. It was trumpet and trombone and saxophone. Yeah,
cool. And what's the name of that band already? Corrie van Brokken?
that was Corrie van Binsbergen. Yeah, that was my
How?
first band.
I think it's the best name ever, but how would you translate it into English? I'm like, oh.
um, uh, in the pieces, pieces like fragments, pieces, because I started with really, like, maybe you could call it a collage.
Mm-hmm.
Collage.
Yeah.
Is it an English term? Collage. Yeah. so I would put in and everything that I liked and what I thought, well, must be possible, hop. And yeah, back then I was quite easily bored, quickly bored by, so I wanted to yeah, these shortish things, chuck, like collage stuff. Yeah.
Bring all these different elements into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fragments, and your music moves around a lot in different places. When I heard it first, I was like, oh, Zappa. And when I grew up, I listened a lot to Zappa, which is weird because nobody of my same age friend, nobody was listening to jazz or to Zappa.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was like, wow, yeah, so cool. It goes
Yeah.
everywhere and it keeps you fresh. I really appreciate that about your music. Can you tell me a little bit how you select the people that you wanted to work with in this band?
Well, at first, there were the drummer was a friend actually, who I knew him very well, and also the saxophone player in the first lineup was also a friend, but the trumpet player I just heard him play in the BIM house. And I went to him and I said, well, I really like your playing, and I want to start my own band. I don't know what will happen, or I don't know what I can offer you besides my own music, and we can try things out. And also, same story with the bass player. Also, was someone I heard, and I thought, oh, I want to, I want to have him in my band. So that was the start actually, and then from there on, that's a long story actually, because bass and drums were not, there was not really a match, and then we tried out several combinations, and at the end, my friend back then was Albert van Veenendaal, piano player. He said, I know who to ask. It's Hein Offermans. You should call it. You should ask him, and I think that would be a nice match. And that was in more, was a really good match. He's my husband now, and it was the start of Corrie van Binsbergen, and we played a lot. Yeah. That was really nice.
Wow. And then, so how do you deal with all these different personalities in the band then? Because sometimes the ensemble was like 15 or 12 people, right? Like big group.
That was Corrie in the Grote Brokken. It was really a big, really huge, and well, that was not easy, because it were really different worlds, with pop musicians who didn't write music, read music, I mean, and jazz musicians who actually were not used to, they want to have scores, the paper. But somehow it worked. It worked. It was pretty good casted actually. It really, it mixed so well, and when it was a really nice band. And it was the idea was just a project, for like one season or something. But all members of the band, oh well, this is far too nice. Let's not stop right away. Let's go on. And so I made 3 different programs with, and then we did the best of this and that, and well, it was really successful and nice. Also because we played on jazz stages and pop stages, and also jazz festivals and pop festivals. And yeah, and all public were really like, what is this? We don't know. We don't. Yeah. It was really nice to play with, and the audience liked it very much too. So yeah.
So yeah, you brought musicians from all different backgrounds and styles into this one stage where you
Yes.
prepared
Yeah.
your originals in a way that they could do something with it, right? How much?
Yeah.
But
Because the people when they get together, they didn't know the vibraphone player, didn't know the guitar player, and this horn players, and etc. etc. But I knew all of them individually. I knew, and I thought, well, I think it could work, and well, that turned out to work. And then you can also, I like when you have this band that every member of the band has something to bring on the table, and shine here or there. I like that. Because it makes the whole stronger, I think.
yeah. But then how do you approach writing for such a group? Is it the score with like open space, or is it like just a lead sheet with chord, or is this a whole orchestration, or do you everything
It's
different?
different. Yeah, it's different. Sometimes it's really like all arranged, all parts arranged, and someone has a solo here or there, just like, yeah. Sometimes I work with the groups, and they have more freedom in the horn players. You can play this line or that line, or bring this or that. Yeah. And but actually most was now not only not only written down, or with the rhythm section we would rehearse, and try different things out, and oh yeah, this works with the bass and the drums. I don't write all things for drums and bass,
Okay, yeah.
but I sing something like it should do or whatever, and then they can play it.
Right, yeah. You give them something to work with, and
Yeah.
then they take off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But of course, now I write for orchestras. I have to write everything down, and more than that, every little detail, every accent, every phrasering, bows, and phrasing, phrasing and dynamics, and everything. This kind of that's a lot of work, actually.
Do you write by
This
hand
little
or
thing.
on?
I start also always and on the piano, and have all kind of little papers, and then I put it in the Sibelius. It's a software program for notating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these little sketches, they become one together, or you just pick one and that's what you're going to develop? Or do you wake up with a melody in your head and then?
Sometimes, yes. Yeah, sometimes it starts with ideas, but lately I really work much from texts, or on just spoken word things.
Like poetry or
No,
oh,
stories, more stories,
stories?
and also music theater. So you have this, actually you have this text is quite leading for me. So I make I make a kind of a musical scenario on the text, and at first very kind of, how to say, basic. It has to start with really solemn, big chords, this and that, and there it has to open up in a little waltz or something, and then it has to go to something crazy, something weird, and then like this.
Those little chapters.
Yeah, and then I go from there. This little waltz, and then I get things in my head, and I write them down.
And so sometimes you're on the piano doing that, and sometimes you still have the guitar in your hands, or you do.
No, mostly by in my head or in the piano. Yeah, and then I put them in Sibelius, and then sometimes I go for a walk, and then these things are in my head, and then I think, there has to be another line which goes like something like this or that, and then I come back home, and so it builds up a bit like this. And I'm so happy that I now have this time also, because before I was so busy with organizing, so composing was in kind of in between or in the morning, but then in the afternoon I had to do so many other things, practical stuff, and or calling or emailing bookers or venues, or make payments or whatever, because I had this organization, and also was subsidized, funded by Fonds Podiumkunsten.
Right.
So then you have a really responsibility to do this in a good way, and but it costs a lot of time. That cost a lot of time, and now I only I'm busy with writing, but not like from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening. It's like in the morning basically, and then in the afternoon I can do some other things, and then I think, but this is good. And then I go back to my working room. And then in the evening, most of the time I'm just free. I'm reading or watching a series on Netflix or whatever, just or seeing friends, or
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you decided to stop touring a couple, is that years ago, or recently, right?
I thought about this, stopping with the organizing my own projects, like 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Wow.
But then again, I had to, of course, then I thought maybe I can do less different things, because I did so many different things during these years, like monthly musical encounters in Zaal 100, every month a different evening. I had 2 festivals in Bimhuis. I had 2 new projects a year, and reprises from other projects. So most of the time there were 5 or 6 projects going in the same season, playing in the same season, and then I thought maybe I could do a little less, like 3 per season, and play more with this one project. Try to do more concerts with one project. And so I did. The last 4 years I did that, and that was okay, but still, yeah, you can imagine it still was very much things around. It's not only playing; it's much more than that. And I was a bit, yeah. I thought I want to have more time for composing. And there were people who in the loop van de jaren, in the years
Over the years.
Yes, who asked me, oh, maybe we can do something together, or do you want to write for my organization, compose? But because I was very busy, it was not happening. But then I thought, oh, maybe I can write a mail to this person and to that person, and who asked me few years ago. So I did, and they were all still positive. So I really had nothing to complain about. Commissions for Rotterdam Philharmonies twice, Metropole Orchestra twice. Now for Silberzee, that's a music theater, and yeah, Asko Schoenberg also, yeah, Asko Schoenberg ensemble. It was quite, yeah, they are really good musicians who can actually play everything you want. You write down. It's like a bit like Ensemble Modern. You know, those people can, yeah, they're the best players in Holland, I think. So, well, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Writing takes a lot of time, especially for orchestrations. It takes endless time. I'm actually taking a orchestra production class where half of the work is putting it in Sibelius and coming up with something, and the other half is putting it in Logic and making it sound real,
yeah.
which is meticulous. It's really hard to make a fake MIDI violin sound real. It's really hard. But it's a good exercise to make me realize what you can do and what's on paper and what makes sense and what's real. And but it takes so much work if you have to do a whole, like, no, I can only imagine you having complete freedom finally to sit and just do it. But that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. And you know what? Last week I got an award. Did you know?
No, I missed that.
I'll show it. I'm really happy. And I was really surprised. Can you read it? No. Yeah, it's a
Buma Cultuur.
Buma Classical Award. Like classical. Yeah, I thought, huh? But yeah.
Yes.
Classical Award 2024. So I was amazed, but yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah, thank
really
you.
amazing.
So I thought, well, I think I did. I made a good decision, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, to focus on the writing. Yeah, but I'm sure you could see yourself perform again if it happens to happen.
Well, I'm writing now what I said for Silberzee, and the artistic director, he said, well, you're going to compose, but I really want you to play in the piece also. So I had to think about it. But I'm so I'm playing. I have to, of course. Then I have to play again, and have. Ik weet niet, eelt.
Work the cows.
Yeah. So I'm busy with that now because we end of November we have a first week of rehearsals. Yeah.
So if you generally write for an orchestra, would you then be there at the whole process when they start performing it, or you just give it and that's it?
I'm there with the rehearsals.
Right. Okay.
And the first performance, but not all performances. No. Yeah. And that's really well. It's. I think it's amazing. Well, because you can, of course, you can hear something. Sibelius, you have also Sibelius sounds, or
Yeah, you could play back, but it doesn't.
you can play,
really.
but no, and especially like a whole string section or something like this. Oh, I was so happy when the first piece. Yeah, it was 3 years ago, and then I had the Rotterdam Philharmonic, and their string section, they sound really beautiful. So there were chords in it, and then you hear it in the first rehearsal, and then I think, oh, I'm really happy, that it works, that it sounds like this, and so much richer than I even could imagine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really making me happy, It's so
Beautiful.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the orchestra or what's the project that you envision on? Do you want to work with the New York Phil, or is it like in the back of your any dreams for?
Yeah, well, I have a few. I have a few. Maybe I would do like this writers concert, which I did with my own ensemble, but then with an orchestra. But then also because I know this text then so very well that I would like to conduct it also. So I'm thinking about it, and I spoke with a conductor and asked, "What do you think? Would that be possible? Is this a crazy idea?" And he said, "No, it's not a crazy at all, because you know your music very well yourself, and you know the best what you want, the combination of the spoken word, where fermatas, how long is this, and that's true, because I know that better than any conductor could know, because I wrote it myself. I mean, how it would work. So, but then I have to have a little more experience to conduct. So in a year, I'm going with an amateur orchestra, string orchestra. And they really want to be a proefkonijn.
Guinea pig.
Yeah, guinea pig. Yeah. So we're going to try this out, and maybe some more of this, because orchestras like Rotterdam Philharmonic, they have only 2-3 rehearsals or something like that.
Right.
There's no time at all to try.
Test
You
things
have
out.
to
Yeah.
be perfectly clear in. So then I have to be very
Step up your game.
sure about this, and I'm not yet like that. So, but I have it in my head that I thought maybe, in a few years, that would be nice. And also opera.
Oh.
I would like that very much, but opera is also there are so many people involved,
Elements to
and
it.
and it's also a bit a world which maybe not is my world. This
theater.
This man or woman has to has this idea about the scene and the light and
A lot of
and
directing.
and so I'm not sure if that's something I would fit. That would be it only could work with a team in which we want to work together with these people for light and directing and scene, and well, that's well, but you never know. You never know. Yeah.
I love to hear a little bit about your work with Toon Tellegen, because this is a famous writer in the Netherlands for stories that are, I don't think, only for children, right?
No.
They have these deep meanings, but I think he hides the meaning sometimes within like animals or like fairy tale type
it's
of
like
stories, right?
fables, kind of fables.
Yeah, fables. Yeah.
But it has layers underneath,
Mm-hmm.
in which with which that's so nice to work with, and it's not, and I have, of course, you have to be aware that you don't make it sentimental or too obvious, but actually more layers and more rich, and yeah, and it works with the stories of Toon. This works really nice. It's and Toon himself, he's so happy with doing it. Like, of course, when you read a story, mostly you read the story in silence at home,
Mm-hmm.
or telling to your children or whatever. But if someone is on the stage telling a story, then that's a different that's a different story.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, literally. And then the music helps so much to bring it to the audience, and I was it's so nice when people come to me afterwards and they, oh, thank you for the beautiful music. And sometimes I think it's really weird music also, or really free, and then this these older women, they say, oh yeah, it's beautiful. And then I think, well, she would never heard this music, and she never, if she heard the music just like that, I don't know, but it's the combination in which, and then they open up also for this music, and that's
Right.
it's a really goede bijvangst. it's
a win-win.
A win-win situation.
Yeah, I agree. They might never come to a very modern abstract music that's like free jazz or however you want to label it. They would never sign up to go to a concert like that, but because of the story, the narration, it just makes sense.
But really, these stories of Toon, it's really beautiful. It's so rich. And they bring, a lot of people bring comforting.
It comforts them.
And that's something beautiful in this world, this, well,
right.
Yeah,
the world needs a little help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognize what you're telling, because with my husband, we do these experimental dessert paintings where Teddy is a pastry chef, so he creates Jackson Pollock Carol Apple like dessert
Okay.
tables, and stuff is flying. He's painting with the spoons, right? It becomes really like abstract, and I make sounds to whatever is happening, so every movement makes a sound, and sometimes it's just me, sometimes there's a band, or I do some orchestration, but most of it is just on the spot. I use iPad apps, loop stations, synthesizers, and obviously my voice into choirs, but people would never go to an experimental improv. They wouldn't, and they end up, because there's chocolate, and at the end of it they eat it, right? So they're watching this bizarreness thing. And it makes sense, because all the movements is a color, is a flavor, is a sound. And then afterwards, like, oh, I felt like a monster eating it. Because, right, they cannot like comfort, they cannot understand what just happened, but they loved it, right?
Yeah.
They
Oh,
would
great.
never,
Yeah.
they would never end up there if it wasn't for chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's that's why you do it.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
create
Yeah.
movie music under whatever is
Okay.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's so great what you're doing. Yeah, I checked out Het Geluk van de Springhaan, which is the story that you put the YouTube on your
Oh,
website.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really makes sense. Do you compose those elements? There is written elements,
Sometimes
right?
like this eendagsvlieg.
Mm-hmm.
Eendagsvlieg. That's really about time. Eendagsvlieg. He is
One day
only
fly.
one day.
Fly.
Mayfly. Yeah, only
Yeah.
one day to live. Like 24 hours and seconds and minutes, and he goes to the shop of the locust, the shop of the springhaan. Is in springhaan.
Oh, well, I'm spacing out.
Yeah, a springhaan locust. No. Well, this story about this springhaan.
Oh,
He has
spacing out on the
a shop. He
Uh-huh.
sells everything. So you name it, and he goes in the back, and then he comes. Oh, I have this for you. Yeah. So the one day fly he goes, and he wants so badly another day. So when I'm with the music, I made a arpeggio, very easy actually. Then in a 7 and then come the piano, like actually like clocks. So this is the second, the seconde, tuck tick tuck tick tuck tick tuck, and the dong dong, and they go like 2 to 3, and it gives like, oh God, the clock. The clock.
It's like it feels like an odd meter that's like
Boom, boom, dong, dong, and it
3 hours.
closes in like it's like a reeks. It's a series of chords, and it's like 4 times this chord, 4 times that, 4 times, then 2 times, and then one time. So it's
narrowing.
It's narrowing, so the time is ticking, and then so simple. He gets another day, and we go from scratch, from the top on. We go again, like, and then with a melody on top, because he's so happy that he has another day, and oh, what I can do with another day. So many things I can do, and I really love that story.
Yeah.
So, but this is really so this comes in this was actually with the guitar in my hand, very. But the idea of this enclosing, and also this clock thing like with the piano. Yeah, that's really thought, bedacht. Yeah.
Yeah, you came up with it.
Yeah.
So then, do you have
This is-
the like
yeah.
Toon Tellegen, like he reads it to you and you have a recording that you can then work with, or you just hear the story in your head because you read the text?
When we started, like really like 18 years ago to work together, I didn't know his voice. I didn't know how he would read. But I read the story myself in my own tempo. But in all cases, there are points like trigger, like this. Well, there's a format. There's a format, or we do this 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then I give a cue. When he's here at this point, we go on to the next.
Right.
Yeah, the next part of whatever. So then it has a lot of freedom, therefore, because Toon, I think I like it when he reads very natural, that he doesn't have to he doesn't have to worry about anything. Just tell the story, just read the story, and we'll manage to do, to go with that. And that's
behind him on stage. You each other. Well, let's move on to the next theme or phrase.
When he's
in the score there might be a word that's if he says this word, then we'll go on to the next.
Yeah, exactly. So I give cues all the time, and when we play it a lot, we don't have to, because we then know it, like
the story.
This is 3 times this, or 4 times 4 measures this. And I know now, so I know I know his tempo so well that I can I figure out, I know it very well now.
Beautiful. Let's switch gears a little bit, because of my album that you're playing on. I love to ask this question about women in music. Have you faced any stereotypes or biases, and how do you challenge or overcome them?
I never had any problems, and I think what I told you earlier, I have 2 older brothers. The house was full of boys when I was young, and I never thought about it. Oh, they are boys and I'm a girl, and I cannot play with them because I'm a girl and they are a boy. So this is my background, and I took it with me all the time. But of course, sometimes, sometimes things are weird. Like and maybe, there was a review a long time ago. I think in a American magazine, and they said, Corrie, he knows his guitar very well, and then I thought, well, I took that as a compliment, actually, to be honest, because I thought, well, that's not, they're not saying anything because I'm a woman. It's just but what I said, I never had issues with it. Not really, no. Little stupid things in the earlier days, like when you come to play, and there are technicians of the hall, and they always think that I'm the singer or something, you know. But yeah,
you grew out of that too, I guess.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Then what advice would you give young musicians who are just starting out?
Follow your heart. Follow, really try to find your own voice, and don't try to imitate other people, or try to find, and if you believe in that, well, yeah, I think it gets you somewhere. Yeah, of course, I don't know if it will bring you success, but it will definitely bring you satisfaction. I think, and that's maybe that's more important than success. Yeah.
Yeah, feeling good is for sure more important than anything else.
Yeah.
So what do you do if you're not working with music?
Not so really, not
gardening.
Very much.
You have hobbies now.
Hobbies.
Finally.
I have a big garden, but
Oh.
Yeah, well.
No. Okay.
I'm more in the garden and reading a book than. When we got here, I tried things out, but but no, it's not really like I'm now knitting or whatever. No, I just have time. I have time to read.
Yeah.
Which I always liked very much when I read a lot. That's actually, and I walk around. Yeah.
What kind of books do you read?
Ooh, all kind of books. Yeah. Oh, so much. I mean, mostly fiction. Yeah, mostly fiction. But interviews I like also. Interviews with musicians or directors or composers, or and biographies sometimes. Yes, I like that also. I have now this book of Code Kloet met Zappa.
Oh, cool.
You know? Yeah. Zappa in his own words. I haven't read it, so I'm going to begin. I have it now double, so I really have to start. Yeah, I bought it and I got it from someone, so I really have to start it now. Yeah.
Funny. You've been doing a gazillion things in the all these years, and I'm sure you had a bazillion people interview you. What's a question that you wanted them to ask and they never did, or a question that or something that you wanted to share but nobody ever thought about?
Oh, wow. Oh.
It might not come to you, but who knows?
No. Oh, really? No. No. Well, I'm talking a lot, but I'm not. I'm actually. I hated interviews always, especially when I was younger, and I really thought, well, you just listen to the music, because that's why I actually am a musician. That I have difficulties in really trying to say what it really means. What it really means, it's in the music. It's very difficult to get that in words. And yeah. And that's why I'm a musician, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you put all that energy in the music and not in a story that you write or that you tell. Yeah.
But when I stop with organization things, or I had a kind of, what did I do? How did it begin? And then I made a kind of really short chapters. Corrie over the Brokken. It's in Dutch, but maybe when I have time, I thought about it maybe to put it in English also, because it's nice and then because also it was nice that I thought, wow, I really did a lot because it has, I think, 64 chapters, and these are all these different projects I did. Well, and it's quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and in a way they're all connected, which is makes sense, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I think it's you go from this to that and then further on, and of course the connection is me, myself, of course, and my development or something. Yeah. But there are the key thing of the basics are the same, you know. Of course I hope I developed, but still the essential me is in it still. It was before, and it still is, I think. And that was your question. I think that's for me, that's if that comes across, that's the most important for me. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being in this podcast. I will put some links in the description so people can check you out and all the stuff you do. And
okay.
Such a pleasure to have you.
It was nice talking with you too. Yeah.
As I conclude this episode of ViviTalks, I want to express my sincere gratitude for joining me in this musical journey. I hope you enjoyed exploring the stories and experiences of the incredible female musicians on my album. To stay updated on our latest episodes, subscribe to ViviTalks on your favorite podcast platform. Connect with me on social media through Vivienne, and please check out my album Type of Thing, a musical exchange featuring 100 female musicians to empower female cacao farmers of Virunga State Park in Congo. It's about more than just music. It's about making a positive impact in the world. Your support is part of that journey, so thank you once again for tuning in. Until next time, keep celebrating the power of music, and let's continue to amplify the voices of remarkable women in the industry. Stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep the music flowing. With love and gratitude. Till soon.